Hello and welcome. You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live interactive web television. This is a platform where you can talk to us as we do our shows live just by clicking on a participation button. You can send us your posts, you can write in to us at IndiaPostLive.com, you can send us your video comments, and of course you can tweet us at #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Well, on Sunday that just went by, Delhi saw a unique celebration. The event, the Delhi's Queer Pride Parade 2014. Hundreds of people from all walks of society came out. There was celebrations, there was dancing, and the number of the members from the LGBT community who participated also increased this year. The message from the LGBT community was loud and clear. We want acceptance and solidarity. Take a look.
I am HIMADRI. That's okay. You are straight. That's okay. You are straight. That's
okay. Chants of "I am gay, it's okay" and "Homophobia has to go" reverberated through the air in the capital on Sunday, as hundreds of people from all walks of life participated in the Delhi edition of the Queer Pride Parade 2014.
That's okay! Hey, ha, ho, ho, homophobia has to go! Hey, ha, ho, ho, homophobia has to go!
Dancing to drum beats and whistles, all wished for freedom from the myopic mindset of society and acceptance of their existence. The celebration was unique. One could see the colors of the rainbow, the symbol of the gay rights movement, in multicolored balloons, masquerade masks, wigs, and very interesting banners. As members of the LGBT community sought solidarity from the rest of the world. Sunday's march was the first since the Supreme Court of India's December 2013 judgment that upheld Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code that bans gay sex. The decision reversed the Delhi High Court's 2009 order, which said the IPC section violated the rights of LGBT people.
I don't mean to offend Modi ji, but chalta hai.
Many choose to hide their sexuality for fear of discrimination and legal action. At the parade, activists demanded that Section 377 must be revoked, no matter which government is in power. The parade stood for equality, support, and pride. Will the movement see the dawn of the day when there is no more stigma attached to this community?
I am gay. That's okay. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself because there's no one else you can be. And love, peace, and equality to all of you.
All right, those were pictures from the Delhi's Queer Pride Parade of 2014 that was witnessed in the capital last Sunday. Now, just to refresh all your memories, in July 2009, the Delhi High Court decriminalized homosexual sex and it declared Section 377 of the IPC unconstitutional with respect to sex between two consenting adults. Now, 12th of December 2013, the Supreme Court of India overturned that judgment. It said that the amending or repealing of Section 377 should be a matter left to Parliament, not to the judiciary. Also, let me tell you that this particular parade happened after, that this was the first parade to happen after the Supreme Court's judgment. Now we are going to talk about the status of LGBT rights in India, and joining me is Dr. Himadri Roy. Dr. Himadri Roy is Associate Professor, Gender and Development Studies of IGNOU. Dr. Roy, welcome to India Post Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Roy, can you hear me?
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let me introduce my other guests. I also have Rahul Ishwar, who joins us from Kerala. Rahul is an author and activist. Rahul, once again, welcome to India Post Live. Pleasure to see you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks. Okay, we have Ahmed Fawaz from Jaipur. Ahmed joins us from Jaipur, and okay, we are expecting him to join us in a few minutes. We have Karan Singh Bains. Karan Singh Bains is the co-founder of the Right to Love campaign. Hi Karan, welcome to India Post Live.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi, great. All right. In fact, let me, we are also expecting ANGELLICA ARIBAM. ANGELLICA ARIBAM is the All India Secretary of NSUI. Of course, as soon as we have her, we'll let you know. Let me start with Dr. Himadri Roy. Dr. Roy, you know, this whole fight that the members of the LGBT community, you know, are the struggle for acceptance and, you know, the decriminalization of Article 377. After the Supreme Court judgment, where do you see that going, especially since, you know, in this Delhi's parade on Sunday, such large numbers of people turned out?
Thanks, Nilanjana. Yeah, what I feel is like from the very beginning onwards, when 2009 judgment came, I was very positive and still positive about it because the curative petition has been filed and we are waiting for the verdict to come out. And as far as whoever is in the power cannot shun away from giving any sort of parliamentary decisions,
Right.
because now, as you have mentioned, is in the parliament, so the parliament cannot shun away from giving any kind of decision, because we are citizens of India and being a democratic country, I think that we should all have the rights to love, as Karan rightly mentions. Right to love cannot be taken away from us, because the other fundamental rights are attached to it, like Article 19, Article 21, all these are attached to the kind of freedom that we have in our country cannot be taken away. And keeping that in mind with the AP Shah's judgment, I think that should be repealed. 377 has to do that, and nothing can stop. And probably this Sunday, when all the community people, not only the community, the whole society, because my students are also participating, I have seen lots of people, my friends, my family members, the community, everyone is coming together to raise the voice, to make the parliament listen to the problems faced, the stigma faced, whether quote unquote it's minuscule or not, I don't believe in it. Lots of people in this country are in a for, and that has to come out. And if this law goes away, probably lots of people join the community.
But are you optimistic, Dr. Roy? Are you optimistic?
Yes, I'm very
about the present government, you know? Do you think the present government...
What I feel is, though the lots of fundamentalism, fascism is attached to the government, but I feel somewhere that they cannot take away they cannot just postpone it to 5 years long again for another Lok Sabha election to happen and the parliament to be formed. They have to take a decision right now, because within few months, a couple of months or whatever time it is, they have to give. They cannot do that for a long time on the court.
Right. All right. Thank you. Right. Thank you, Dr. Roy, for your comments. Let me just go across now to Karan Singh Bains. Karan Singh Bains, tell me a little bit about the Right to Love campaign and your fight for the decriminalization of Article 377.
Hi. Well, the Right to Love is essentially a project that aims at documenting stories of love, struggle, and hope from the queer community in India.
Yeah.
We started the project back last year, when right after the Supreme Court judgment, in fact, and we felt that there was a need for people to actually see, people from the community. There was a need for people to understand the problems that members of the community face, and there was need for people to understand that, well, these are not people who you don't know. These people who could be your brother, who could be your sister, who could be your colleague, or who could be somebody, whom you happen to just know.
Karan, currently homosexual relations can lead to an imprisonment and up to a lifetime imprisonment. Now, it's been a long struggle. Article 377 of the IPC was constitutionalized during the British rule. It came into existence during the British rule in India, I think about 1860. Now, it's been so many years. There was a ray of hope that happened in 2009, and now again we've gone back, it seems, to square one. Of course, the number of people who participate in Delhi's parade, of course, tells a different story in terms of people who came out, who were not afraid to come out and express themselves. But don't you think the struggle to decriminalize Article 377 or to repeal Article 377, don't you think you have a long way to go? Or are you optimistic that the new government, as Dr. Roy said, the government cannot shun away from it, the government has to take a decision?
Well, I think we have come a long way from where we were. It was 50 years before, when the buggery law, in fact, was put on by the British on India. It was rather just slapped on India, along with a lot of other laws from the IPC. Mm-hmm. But I think we've come a long way, and certainly the mindset on ground has changed. I mean, I think there is certainly more awareness among people about issues from the community, from not just, in fact, the gay community, but also from the queer community today. We have, after the judgment, we have also seen a very forward-looking judgment from the same Supreme Court on the rights of transgenders, in fact. So it's kind of, it is going, of course, many steps back when it comes to the rights of lesbian and gay people in India. But I certainly think there is certainly hope.
Okay, thank you, Karan. Let me now go across to Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar joins us from Kerala. He's an author and an activist. Rahul, we have seen that hardline religious leaders, be it Hindu leaders, be it Muslim leaders, are essentially homophobic. Now, do you see, as Karan just told us, the mindset is changing, and LGBT activists have actually come a long way, and also the fact that we saw a huge turnout at Delhi's parade. Where do you see the situation as far as LGBT activism goes?
Sensitive area. Of course, homosexuality and the right to love is their freedom. They can come out, and we are all appreciative of their attempts.
Right.
But there are two aspects that's there. One is regarding science. There is still a debate in some circles whether homosexuality is genetically transmitted or culturally transmitted. Is it a by birth thing, or is it inculcated through society or environment? This debate is still going there, whereas there is no final scientific consensus. There has been some instances of spotting homosexual behavior in animals, but it has been on the border of being called deviant behavior or a deviation in behavior.
Right.
However, nobody in the spiritual religious circles is homophobic per se. Of course, they have reservations, they have their own kind of apprehensions.
Right.
Will some kind of a legitimization of this process increase the percentage or number of homosexuals in our society, which is basically antithetic to the whole idea of family, of a male-female union. So these are some genuine natural apprehensions. They are nothing disrespectful. They are respectful reservations and inhibitions from people who belong to the right of center. But our society is progressing forward, and I would like to remind our Supreme Court didn't criminalize it again. Supreme Court categorically said, let us not have cases against them. Let us not impose an idea of criminality. Supreme Court only meant, let us have social acceptance before legal acceptance. That's the reason why Supreme Court said before
Repealing.
adjudicating on a matter or deciding on a matter, let Parliament debate it. And there has been some voices from right of center circles where it has been more welcoming. So there is a slightly slow, modern positioning and maturing of the positions where the right of center people hold. And I hope we will be reaching a consensus very soon. People from both end of spectrum, I hope, will respect each other's position and come to a more mature debate and conclusion. And in a land like India, where there has been a strong idea of family, conservative values have taken strong root. We never considered homosexuality criminal in our earlier days. I would like to remind that it is only a Victorian imposition, a British imposition on our society. So it's a mixed bag of so many positions altogether. I hope we will evolve into a better position which is accommodative of all in near future.
A more tolerant society is what you're talking about, right? Well, you said something very interesting. I mean, of course, I know that the Supreme Court has in fact overturned the High Court agreement. So essentially, I mean, I agree with what you said, that it should first be debated in the Parliament. It should, it should not be left only to the judiciary, is what the Supreme Court has said. But what does that mean? I mean, like we said, a lot of people are still, they don't come out of the closet regarding their sexuality because of fear of being, punished by law. So, right now that remains, right? I mean, Article 377 remains very much, isn't it?
Even though Article 377 remains, Supreme Court said no cases need be registered against them. No cases of criminality should be imposed on them. Supreme Court slightly, I wouldn't say Supreme Court backtracked, but Supreme Court wanted a wider social consensus before making it a law or decriminalizing it into a much more acceptable law. Right now, we all know the next demand from the LGBT community would be legalizing of homosexual marriages, which may be in cards in near future too. So these kind of debates should first be debated in a public forum, in a place like Parliament, let our media discuss it, and in some time we will evolve into a better position. I wouldn't even use the word tolerant. I would even use a more pluralistic society, more accepting of different viewpoints, even if one disagrees with them. That's what I know India always believed in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Rahul. In fact, you raised another very interesting point. The debate is still on whether homosexuality per se is genetic or cultural. Now we have someone who will tell us his own story, and he is Ahmed Fawaz. Ahmed Fawaz joins us from Jaipur. Ahmed, welcome to India Post Live. Ahmed, you need to unmute your mic, I think. Hi Ahmed, can you hear me? Ahmed, can you hear me, Ahmed?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you. Ahmed, tell us your story. I believe you went to a parade and there was a revelation. Tell us your story. Ahmed, I can't hear you again. Okay, I think there is a problem with Ahmed's audio. ANGELLICA. Okay, we are joined now by ANGELLICA ARIBAM. She is the All India Secretary of NSUI. ANGELLICA, welcome to India Post Live.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, ANGELLICA. Okay, now you've heard, I think, before you joined, Dr. Himadri Roy said that there is no way that the Parliament can shun from debating this particular issue. Rahul EASWAR from Kerala also said that, society must debate, and society must, maybe we will move towards a more, I use the word tolerant, but he said, a more pluralistic word, people are accepting of each other's, preferences. And of course, we have also had Karan Singh Bess, co-founder of the Right to Love campaign, who said that we've come a long way in the struggle for LGBT rights. ANGELLICA, what is your position now, in the perspective of the fact that the parade that happened on Sunday was the first parade after the Supreme Court's judgment of December 12, 2013. Where do you see the LGBT rights issue stand?
Well, I think it has come a long way. And it was for the very first time that we, NSUI, as an organization, we went there to show our solidarity. So it has come indeed a very long way. And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So what we were thinking is, considering how the situation has changed, the SC verdict that came out in December 2013,
Yeah.
and right now the only way to revoke or to amend or remove 377 is lies in the hands of the parliament.
Right.
So if unless the parliament takes it up, nothing is going to happen on that front. And everyone is aware of the fact that the new right-wing government is not so open to the idea of the plight of the LGBT community. I remember during the time, around the time when the ruling came out, Rajnath Singh himself said something like being gay is unnatural. And also there was another senior BJP leader, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, who went on Twitter and tweeted something about gay being a mental disorder. When such mentality exists in the right wing and the majority that currently have in the parliament, I think it's not going to be an easy task.
Right.
But we from the Congress party, we will extend our full solidarity like Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi said when the ruling came out. It needs to be revoked and we will definitely stand by them.
All right. Thank you, Angelica. Those were your opening comments. A struggle, a definite struggle is what you're saying. Dr. Roy, let me come back to you. Dr. Roy, you have said that they cannot shun, you have said that the parliament cannot shun, but Angelica's contention that, with such comments having been made so openly by our own leaders and ministers who are right now in the government, it is an uphill task. It's not going to be an easy task, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely it is not going to be easy task. What Rahul has pointed out very clearly, like I have two reservations against it.
Sure.
One is like taking it to the science forum by saying it is a genetic disorder. No, nothing is genetic disorder over here. I am naturally born from my parents. I don't have a genetic disorder in any form. My parents have given me birth naturally, so I am their natural son, first of all. Let me make that very clear. Acceptance. Yes, social acceptance, but right to love, like Karan is doing, and other parts of the society. Since 2009, I have seen lots of changes. The media houses have played a lot of big roles in changing the ideas, minds of the people, mindsets. And definitely, yes, there are leaders in the BJP, and there are also leaders like Arun Jaitley, who is quite acceptable to the idea that this right is basically a violation of human rights according to the UN HCR.
Right.
Because we cannot do anything again. UN HRC's treaty of being India a part of UNIA with anything against it. So Arun Jaitley is also on the one side, and the other ministers are also there's been the fact that there are someone from the family can be so quote unquote gay or queer or whatever, like, which is different.
Right.
And being different is nothing less of exhibiting or saying your own voice in a different manner, which cannot be shunned away. That's why I said that the parliament cannot shun away and taking time and hack against the time and hibernate the whole debate on this in the parliament. They have
Dr.
to
Roy, don't you think there is a contradiction that, the third sex is being recognized, but homosexual intercourse is being criminalized?
Yes. There is an oxymoronic stand totally with the Supreme Court as well as probably with the Parliament. This is totally an oxymoronic form.
Right.
You see that many transgenders in this country earn their through prostitution, and their form of prostitution is again quote unquote, if it is criminalized, then the 377 is again roped into the end of them. Okay, you are a part of the citizen of this country, but you cannot earn your livelihood through 377
Right.
or through prostitution that usually many of the transgenders in this, like the poor transgenders
All right.
who
Yeah.
are,
Dr. Roy,
as Karan has mentioned.
Yeah, Dr. Roy, let me just stop you there. We have Maria with us online, and Maria has a very interesting story to say. Maria, hi, welcome to India Post Live. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost Maria. Maria, are you there? All right. Maria is a linguist and a translator and a member of the LGBT community. And in fact, Maria had a very traumatic episode at the Korean Cultural Center where, Is Maria there? All right, I think we've lost the line. Maria was waiting on the phone line with us. Yeah, so Dr. Himadri, like you said, this oxymoronic stand that you talked about, what is the way forward now?
The way forward is like there are several people, several online forums, media houses like Karan is taking out Right to Love. There are voices against 377. There are several online groups. There are several media houses. There are groups who are aware the society, sensitize the society that through their way of making understand that this is not unnatural. There is no unnatural about it. And people have to slowly and very gradually accept the fact that they exist in the society.
They exist in society.
Other human beings.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we have Maria back on the line. Maria, welcome to India Post Live. She joins us on the phone line. Maria?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi. Maria,
Hi.
Very recently, I think in August or September, you had a traumatic episode at the Korean Cultural Center, am I right?
Oh, yes, I was at the Korean Cultural Center. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about the kind of harassment you faced? We are talking of the entire issue of the problems, the struggles of the LGBT community. Why don't you tell us what you went through, Maria? Very briefly, please.
Yes, well, I was there learning Korean, and one day, this student in the class, just says, in Hindi, अब क्या ये भी Korean पढ़ने के लिए आएंगे? So that means even this person is going to learn Korean. So I just, turned around and I said, excuse me, but, everybody has a right to education. And, I mean, how would you feel if, someone, said something like this to you because you were, of a certain caste or because of who you were, So, then that person just, started, abusing me, left, right, and center.
Right.
So, that's all I said. Then I went down.
Did you take it up with the Korean Cultural Center? Did they help?
Yes, I did. And I, went to the reception, and the person there, I told her, and this is what had happened, and this is what, that person had said. And she told me that, this is a problem that has no solution. And that really made me upset. And, then I said, I'd like to speak to your director and, to the person, above you. And, then I was, put on to a person, to whom I had, narrated the whole incident.
Yeah.
And then I was, put on to another person and then to another person. And that just went on and on and on. And I had, told them, about the incident about, a dozen times, in one day. And still they kept on asking what had happened.
Right.
And in the end, they said, oh, well, the director wants to see you, privately, in his office. I said, I have already told you what had happened. Why don't you go and tell the director yourself what had happened? Why do I have to go? And besides, I'm now in a very bad mood and I don't want to see anybody's face there. And, secondly, I would constantly get, disapproving looks from the staff, from the librarian, from and people teaching there would make fun of me, especially the Indian members of the staff, and they would laugh at my face outright, and that would really hurt my feelings.
Okay, now if I can just this whole struggle for LGBT rights that people like you, Dr. Roy, Karan Singh Bains, we're all on the show here today. You're all do you see this struggle being a very, very uphill task because of daily incidents like this, regular incidents like this, or do you see a ray of hope somewhere in your struggle?
You know what, I have lost all hope. I have to tell you what is there in my heart. I mean, you will hear people saying that yes, there is hope, the fight is on. But let me tell you something. The day this horrible law 377 was reinstated, I was lying dead in my couch. I just was almost hospitalized. You do not know how my heart sank when I went on Indian TV. I saw written, and I heard that the Supreme Court had overturned the Delhi High Court verdict.
Yes.
That you do not know how I felt. I was literally almost in the hospital, and my parents had to do so much that day to comfort me, to reassure me. Let me tell you one thing. I had lost hope, but that does not mean that I'm going to stop standing up for myself. That is still going on, because whenever people do this to me, any comment or any idiotic anti-LGBT thing to me they do, I just immediately react in so many different ways, and I just tell them to just stop right there.
Right.
I just tell them to do
Standing up for yourself is what you can do. All right. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Let me go across once again to Karan Singh Bains. Karan, you just heard Maria's story. Karan, Maria was the target of a lot of ridicule and abuse and all of that in Delhi's Korean Cultural Center. In fact, Maria told me the story then itself, and it's only now that we're doing a show on LGBT rights. So, what you said, that we've come a long way in this, and, this question I'll also ask Angelica this thereafter. Don't you think stories like this, make you kind of wonder whether at all things will change? I mean, we are just blaming the right-wing people, we are blaming the hardliners who have welcomed the December 2013 Supreme Court decision. But even in our society, this kind of an intolerance is ingrained. So, what do you think can be done about that?
Well, I would again go back to where it in fact came from, the whole intolerance that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it was again during the time, in fact, in my conversation with a lot of historians for the right to love. One of them is Salim Kidwai, who has written a book on same-sex love in India, readings from history. And Salim, in fact, mentioned that the whole reason why a lot of the middle class at that time, during the British time, the reason why they ingrained such intolerance was because of the fact that the British created a whole ideological empire, which was based on a lot of an entire ideological framework, and that in fact made a lot of the educated middle class of the time to inherit a lot of the views that they did at that time. And back to your question about whether such stories really make us feel whether this is rather, I would say this is very unfortunate. I couldn't hear Maria's story very well.
Yeah, what happened was that Maria was ridiculed. Maria's a linguist, and she was in the Korean Cultural Center, and she was ridiculed by someone saying that, okay, such people will also study Korean now. So Maria had to stand up for herself, and Maria, nobody really listened at the Korean Center, and apparently people said there is no solution to this problem. That is what happened. I would
like to tell Maria that, well, this is exactly what we are trying to do here at the Right to Love. In fact, we are trying to make sure that stories like hers are taken out, are shown to people, and people understand what's happening. Because after all, we're not in a society which is completely isolated today from from what a certain section thinks and from what a certain other section thinks about.
Okay.
Please
Okay, let
go
me
ahead
go across.
if I missed out any question there.
Yeah. Let me go across to Angelica. Angelica, you just heard Maria's story, I think, and you just heard what Karan Singh is saying. Now, this very dark side to it, where this kind of an intolerance and ridicule towards members of LGBT, and as also Rahul Ishwar pointed out, a lot of these people are into prostitution and all of that. So there is from society they are looked at with a very different light. So Maria has given up hope. What do you have to say?
Actually, it was very shocking for me when I came from Manipur 10 years back.
Yeah.
Because in our society back home, the LGBT community enjoys a certain kind of liberty where they're accepted socially and economically as well. So more than 50% of the LGBT community are well employed, and they have even, I don't know, they're well accepted. There is also a form of theater where the role of the female is reserved only for the transgender.
Okay.
No women are allowed to play the role. It's reserved especially for them, and they emulate it so well that women even tend to envy them at times. So there is a lot of intolerance. When I came to Delhi 10 years back, I saw this and I was shocked. I couldn't believe myself that they are treated in this manner. But it's the sad truth, and we need to get rid of this mentality. And in order to do this, we need to go to the roots. We need to go to the ground and create awareness. So I call upon on everyone over here, like Rahul Ishwar, Dr. Himadri Roy, Karan, and all, to help us out. Our NSUI has wings all across the country. We have 31 lakh members. So we would want to, take this issue down to the roots and get rid of the homophobia that is in the society.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Angelica. Let me go across now to Rahul Ishwar. Rahul, something that Karan Singh pointed out was that one was not really, our society was not really that homophobic. It was more, brought in by the Britishers, the British colonial rule, and they wanted to instill. So, same-sex love was not unheard of as far as history is concerned. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because you brought out the issue of genetic versus cultural. What are your thoughts on this, and do you think the pluralistic society that you talk about can at all be achieved in the near future? Do you see any positive change happening in the next 5 years? You need to unmute your mic, Rahul. Can't hear you. Rahul, you need to unmute your mic. I can't hear you. Okay, I think that's...
Yeah, he's right in saying because our history, we were never homophobic. We had representations of homosexual people. We had such people mentioned in our Puranas. As a society, homophobic.
Yeah.
But one realistic, I welcome her statements in saying that they should get more acceptability. One suggestion I would like to have is there are, whether we like it or not, there are religious groups, spiritual groups, people who we call conservative in quotes. There are a huge majority of people in our nation. So our media, these kind of activist groups, need to actively engage with them.
Yeah.
Rather than disengaging with them and condemning them as homophobes, we need to actively engage with them, come to some kind of a consensus. Even inside religious and spiritual organizations, we have such kind of discussions where a majority of people say, see, engage more with them, let us have a position forward. So these kind of talks are happening inside the community too. The Catholic Church has slightly nuanced their position. Islamic community, many people are talking about reconciling with the fact that homosexuality is getting more accepted in our society.
Yes.
There have been many talks in Hindu community regarding, even the ancient Indian civilization never condemned homosexuals, so we should be more accepting towards them. So I think media can do a great role in assimilating these new trends in our society, actively engaging different stakeholders. Rightly mentioned that social acceptance should come before legal acceptance. In order to get more and more social acceptance, this point need to be driven home rather than having disrespectfully engage with each other and continue this conversation. And that is very important, I think, for the forward movement of our society.
Okay, so basically all sections of the society need to get together and talk is what is more important. In fact, we had some very interesting voices that came out of the Delhi Queer Parade. Also, there were some activists there. There were people, empowered members of the society, not just members of the LGBT community, but activists. And this is what they had to say regarding the entire movement. Take a look.
I'm here to spread love and peace because I'm a special one and I have rights to love a guy or...
Be tolerant, live and let live. It's all I would like to say.
They should accept each human being as he or she is, and they should not make any discriminations and treat everyone as equals, as their own equals.
I describe it as a terror law or a hate law. It's essentially a hate law which is justifying the rationale behind a variety of hate crimes. Okay? Ordinary individuals in this who are protesting here today have actually are hiding behind this protest a whole lot of immense daily torture and pain.
Supreme Court left a challenge for us, saying that the judge had said when he overturned High Court judgment that he thought we were a minority. He'd never seen any gay people. So I think this is just a show of strength and a message to those decision makers that we're not a minority and we're certainly not going to go back to the backdrop in the background. We are going to speak up and we're going to demand that we get access to all the basic rights that we're entitled to.
It's about the community, how the kind of atrocities they are facing here. They need to really change the mindset, and for that is the reason why the people are here.
Okay, changing the mindset is what is required. Live and let live. And as SHIVRAJ PARSHAD pointed out, we are definitely not a minority, looking by those numbers. Dr. Roy, my final comments from you, please. You just heard those sound bites there coming from, are you there? Okay, I seem to have lost Dr. Roy's video. Okay, let me go across to Karan Singh Bains. You heard the voices there that came out of the parade. We are definitely not a minority, and all we want is acceptability. Live and let live, and let us choose who we want to love. So positive voices there, optimistic voices there coming out, and again, like I asked Rahul Ishwar, do you see much more acceptance, much more the tolerance, if I may use the word, for the LGBT community in the next 5 years from now?
Thanks, Nilanjana. Yeah, I would certainly agree with you there. In fact, this goes on. I have been lucky enough to be a part of the prides from 2009 to till date in Delhi, and what I have come across is that we see the number of masks reducing today. There are more people who are coming out. There are more people who are ready to face who they are, and there are more people. You might just want to look at the placards. A lot of them have very interesting things to say. For instance, one of them said that. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, absolutely. So, the message coming across loud and clear, we are here, you cannot ignore us. And what KAVITA KRISHNAN said, that the law is a hate law, that law must go. So the fight is on, the fight remains, and I wish all of you all the best. And as Rahul Ishwar said, that, let members of all sections meet and talk and accept each other's viewpoints. That is what is very, very important. Karan Singh Bains, co-founder of the Right to Love campaign, thank you so much for joining us on India Post Live. I would like to thank ANGELLICA ARIBAM also. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure through India Post Live, your message that you have so many life members and you're working very, very actively for the community, and a very eye-opening statement there about what you experienced back there at home and how different things are here in Delhi. So you see a plurality, you see a difference right there in our own country. So a lot needs to be done, I'm sure. Thank you so much. Rahul Ishwar, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your comments. and very well taken, the fact that all members must come meet and talk. Dr. Roy, if I could quickly take final comments from you if you're there. Okay, we had lost your video in between. You heard Maria's story. She faced a lot of harassment, and you heard everybody else say that, you know, the only way out is for acceptance, for understanding, not sweeping this issue under the carpet, but, you know, accepting that it's not a minority and everybody needs to meet and talk. Your final comments, Dr. Roy? Okay, I think I have lost Dr. Roy again, but thank you so much for joining us, all of you. I would like to thank all of you for watching the show. Please send me your comments and your feedback on this issue. And I would like to once again thank all my online guests. I look forward to your video comments, your posts and your tweets while the fight for acceptance and rights of the LGBT community goes on. Thank you so much.